Hey guys, welcome back to the Bitcoin briefing, and today I'm going to give you a short snapshot on a latest update on the global M2 money supply and how it stacks up against Bitcoin. As we know, liquidity is the number one driver behind every major Bitcoin cycle, so if you understand M2, you understand where Bitcoin's price could be heading next. So with that said, let's jump into it. Here's the latest M2 data. Global M2 has now reached approximately $22.12 trillion. That's an increase of around $1 trillion from this time last year. So you can see that if we hover around the 1st of September 2024, we were on about $21.18 trillion. We're now at $22.12 trillion. Despite central banks talking tough on inflation, this obviously has increased substantially. 1 trillion is not to be scoffed at. It is a lot of money and liquidity that's been pumped into the system. In other words, the world is still drowning in liquidity. Now let's overlay the Bitcoin price history chart onto a view of the global M2, and you can do that via TradingView and use an indicator called global M2 with a 10-week offset, which gives good correlation. And you can see that in 2020, M2 exploded, and so did the Bitcoin price. In 2022, M2 decreased, and so did the Bitcoin price. Today, we're starting to see liquidity return in this huge upward swing, and you can see that reflecting in Bitcoin's price. So we shouldn't ignore this, and although historical past returns are not a guarantee of future returns, however, it should be used as pattern recognition and at least an indicator of where the price may go in future. So where does that leave us today? M2 is quietly expanding once again, and that expansion is the fuel that Bitcoin thrives on. If this trend continues, Bitcoin could be setting up for its next liquidity-driven rally. The timing is never exact, but the direction is clear and correlated from history. More money supply, stronger Bitcoin, and an increase in Bitcoin's price. So guys, this is a short video, but that's been your liquidity update. M2 keeps expanding, and history says that Bitcoin eventually follows. The cycles repeat, liquidity grows, fiat weakens, and Bitcoin strengthens. The only question is how fast this expansion plays out. If you want to keep up to date with these Bitcoin versus M2 updates, hit subscribe and share this with someone who wants the bigger macro picture. This is the Bitcoin briefing, and I'll see you in the next update.